Hey everybody and welcome. We have made it to the finals of the Premodern Showdown Series 2. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined by Flint Espel. Say hi, Flint.
Hi, everybody.
So we are very excited. We've been playing for, this will be our eighth week of play, and we finally have cut down to two players. Robin, who we had as the champion of the first Premodern Showdown Series, sees himself in the finals again. So he's got a chance to be back to back champion. So that's what he's looking to do. And Aaron is coming off a win of the Pre-Modern Easter Championship, which was on Sunday. He took that down with a slide deck. So he's looking to win back to back titles, I guess, from his perspective. So both players have a little bit of storyline for whichever one wins. So it'll be exciting to see. What are you looking forward to tonight, Clint?
I'm looking forward to hopefully a third match. We didn't get to see that in Series 1. And, I think both these guys have some decks with some game. And it would be great to kind of see it come down to the wire. I know that there have been some lopsided matches this season, for better or for worse. And then I'm also wondering who you think the underdog here is.
I think the decks like on paper are somewhat close. I feel like I have the advantage of seeing how like the matches have lined up. So
Oh,
I
fair enough.
think think Robin has a slight edge there, and we can talk about that a little bit.
Okay, sounds good.
Do you want to quick talk about how the finals works?
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages. So the way this is going to work is Robin and Aaron are going to play a best of three match. One of each of their decks has already been banned. So they've selected whatever deck they want to start with from the remaining two. They're going to play a best of three match. And then after that match is done, they're going to play a second best of three match with their other eligible, i.e., non banned deck. If after the first two matches we have a tie, so each has won a best of three match, then the players will play a third and final best of three match where they will use whatever deck was originally banned by their opponent and play a best of three match to crown the victor.
Okay, so let's take a look at the band screen. So this will tell us how the match is played or which order, I guess. Well, once we know which deck they're playing. So blue, white, red wizards is banned for Robin. So if he's going to play that tonight, it will be in the third match. And for Aaron, his Forbidden deck has been banned. So again, the only time we'll see that is if they go to a third match. The Oath of Clerics and the Pox are available for Robin, and the Jun Fires Rock and the Bant Counter Slivers are available for Aaron. So if we go over, we'll look at the decks, and Robin has chosen to play the Pox deck. He's had a lot of success with this, and it's not really a surprise to me that he's leading off with this list. It's pretty solid. So a lot of disruption, it has a lot of answers and stuff, and is gonna eventually just kind of squeeze the life out of opponent once it's ripped all the cards out of the hand. So Aaron has selected to play the Bant Counter Slivers. So this deck is aggressive in forms of the creatures, and then looks to counter some key spells with the counter magic that it has. So Aaron has not had as many chances to play this deck because it has been banned so often, I think, for him. So it'll be interesting to see it in action again, and then also how it lines up against Pox, which counter magic, I guess at least it has some early pressure, but counter magic against Pox isn't always the best. It's because there's just so much discard. So I'll go over to the key cards for this matchup. So the first one I want to point out is Powder Keg in the Pox list. There are two copies of Powder Keg, and if this card gets to two counters, it can destroy a lot of the threats out of Aaron. And because the most of the slivers cost 2 mana, so that'll be a good way to get rid of the creatures. And then also, if a crystalline sliver is down, all the creatures have shroud, which is pretty key, and powder keg still gets around that. So I think powder keg is probably the most important card out of Robin's deck, even though there's only two. And then the other card is Curse Scroll. So if there's no crystalline sliver on the board, then Curse Scroll is likely to be able to repeatedly take down a bunch of the slivers. There are scenarios where there's like too many muscle slivers in play or something. Or obviously, if there's a crystalline sliver, then they'll have shroud. But Curse Scroll will be a repeated way to get rid of slivers. And so then looking at the slivers deck, kind of mentioned this before. The Crystalline Sliver, giving it Shroud, protects it against the Curse Scroll, protects against. I guess Funeral Charm isn't that effective, but just a repeating source like Curse Scroll, so his creatures can get through. And it's a 2/2 body, which is obviously what Aaron's looking just to add to the clock. And then out of the sideboard for the Slivers deck, there's a couple of copies of Uktabi Orangutan, and there are copies of Worldly Tutor in the deck so that he can find it, because I know we already see the key cards for Robin are Powder Keg, Curse Scroll, but then even out of the sideboard he has cards like Ensnaring Bridge, and then in addition to that there's the Rack, there's Scalding Tongs, so there's lots of targets for Uktabi Orangutan to hit, and I think that one will be a key player. Do you have any other predictions or anything you want to add, Flint, before we jump to the match?
Let's just jump right in. We could potentially see 9 games tonight.
Yep. All right. So let's head on over. So here we have Robin on the left. He is on the play. And then Aaron on the right with the Bant Counter Slivers deck. He'll be looking to take down the Mighty Pox deck that Robin has brought. So I have a poll going up. We want you guys to let us know who you think is going to win this first match, whether it'll be Robin with the Mono Black deck or Aaron with the Blue White Green Slivers deck. We see turn 1 Dark Ritual and then starting with a Duress. Like the only option is Mana Leak. The rest of the cards are City of Brass, Flooded Strand, Quick Sliver, Plated Sliver, Muscle Sliver, and Crystalline Sliver. So how do you like that hand for Aaron?
I like it a lot. He's got the Crystalline Sliver. He's got some beefiness with the Muscle Sliver. He also doesn't have any duplicate cards, so if Robin wants to follow this up with a Cabal Therapy, he's only going to hit 1 more card, unless he's sandbagging 2 Cabal Therapies, in which case, good for you.
Okay, so his follow-up play is a Cabal Therapy. Okay, so he does take the Crystalline Sliver, so that makes a lot of sense, getting rid of that. And then a Curse Scroll. So while he's not at 3 mana right now, but if he's able to get up to there and have his hand down to 1 card, which he only has 2 right now, he'd be able to just pick off Slivers one by one.
So do you like searching here? Well, I guess he's going to get a basic, so it's not as big of a deal, right? We're not, worried about Wasteland to the same extent that we would be in other formats.
I mean, what is your reasoning for not fetching right there?
Just sort of the instinctive sort of legacy player in me was like, what are you doing right now? Don't search right now. Because I, for some reason, thought I was going to get it on basic, but it's a moot point.
Oh yeah,
it's like a knee-jerk reaction. Like, wait.
Yeah, with the 1 drop, that makes sense.
Yeah, totally fine. It's nice to run out the 1 drop too, because against Innocent Blood, but of course,
we see a Funeral Charm. And so Robin's at swamp number 2, so he's got 1 card left in hand. So now it's kind of like
must be a land.
Aaron kind of has to be afraid of this Curse Scroll coming online very early.
Muscle Sliver would be a good play, though, right? Wouldn't it put everything out of range?
Not itself, though.
But what about the Plated Sliver?
Oh yes, there's a yeah. Okay, all right, that's fair. But didn't the Plated Sliver? Oh so you made a discard. Yeah. Because it has
+2 -1. He would have been able to kill the Plated Sliver.
Okay, that's fair. Yep. Then I guess that sequence actually is pretty good there. That getting those 2 in play is pretty key. So we see a Duress being used, and I think that's because Robin almost wants the card out of his hand, I think was the thought. Yeah. We do see a Quick Sliver, so this one will give all the Slivers flash, which actually is pretty important. I didn't think of the interaction with Bottomless Pit, but with a Quick Sliver in play, it makes a lot of the draws a lot better for Aaron, because he'd be able to cast any of the Slivers before he has with the trigger on the stack. And then we're seeing the Muscle Sliver. So this
Yeah.
this makes everything at least have 3 toughness as long as the plated sliver and the muscle sliver in play.
So pretty good recovery there, despite the really disruptive opening from Robin.
Yeah. If like the funeral charm were something like innocent blood, then the game would be very, very different. I guess he would have had the option to flash in the quicksilver, and then he would have been able to sack that. So maybe it wouldn't have been that different.
So it looks like he was about to Dark Ritual scroll a sliver and then realize they all have 3 toughness.
Yeah. So Robin's quickly on the back foot. I would say this has really turned around actually.
And how much is Aaron going to swing in for next turn? 6?
So yeah, because he attacked for 4 last turn. Did he never attack with the plated sliver by itself?
I don't think he did on the first turn. Or
Like,
I
on
guess his second
his
turn,
second turn?
technically. Yeah, first turn where it was eligible to attack.
I mean, there's no reason for him not to, right?
No, there's no reason not to.
Okay, that might just slipped his mind. He had Quicksilver on the mind, I guess. I did not see the results of the poll. Looks like the majority actually voted for the Bant counter silvers, so
All right.
I guess my impressions were that the Pox had a slight edge, but given the way these turns are sequenced, I guess I would put Aaron. Well, definitely now I would put him at the advantage. This clock is quick.
Yeah.
This is nine a turn.
It's a pretty good follow up. And welcome if you're just joining us or you've started out the beginning. I see Mike Arnold. I see Anthony. I see Rich Bork. I see Gabe. I see a lot of folks. So return viewers. So welcome. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, Robin's John. Okay, so there's a Pox, so 1/3 of 4 rounded up is 2. So, right? It's 2, right? Why do you only sack 1?
It should be 2. Yeah. Okay. He got it. He's on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I was just thinking. His hand gesture was like very quick just to put 1 in. So now it's still with the 2 muscle slivers. They're both still out of range of curse roll, which is pretty key here.
Yeah.
So Robin, is he just hacking it up? I guess
Comical Flop. Hello, welcome. You didn't get a call out. I haven't seen any jokes yet. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he's just dead. Like I guess like
Okay.
Aaron just has to like sacrifice the wrong creatures because I mean, if you're losing 1/3 of your 7 life, then you're losing 3 life, and there's that much power on the board. There's 4 power, 6 power. So a quick game to the Slivers deck. Cool. Let's look at sideboards.
Also, gracefully balding, another return viewer I recognize. Welcome back. Thanks for watching, everybody.
So the Pox deck. So I think, Engineered Plague is a card that, I mean, it's obviously against a tribal deck, but the thing is, like a card like Plated Sliver and Muscle Sliver, like you're not gonna kill that. You're unlikely to kill that many slivers, but in combination with cards like Curse Scroll, I think it is worth the slot. And then I think Ensnaring Bridge is a card that you would want to bring in. A Perish. So how many green? There's Muscle Sliver, Quicksliver,
Crystalline Sliver.
Well, Crystalline Sliver isn't green. It's blue and white.
It's blue and white. For some reason, I thought it was blue and green.
No.
Okay, sweet. Well, that's good news for Aaron.
But I could see Perish coming in. Are there any cards that are bad? What cards don't you like? I mean, I would say that like Bottomless Pit is not at its strongest, but I think if you like take out a card like that, then it's a lot harder for you to win. Like because then you can just keep like counter spells in your hand or cards in your hand, and the cards like the Rack don't do nearly enough.
There's always like living the dream too of like the turn 1 ritual Bottomless Pit, which is just so incredibly disruptive, even for a sliver deck. Like if he gets a land or something that Aaron's counting on, it's still just, I think, such a powerful play in this deck. I think maybe Unmask is what folks are saying in chat here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, Gabe was saying Scroll Show is not so great. I mean, I disagree. I don't think you could take out Scroll. I think it's like one of the best cards. Like, if you're able to take out one of those creatures, then I think the game is just completely different. Brian Selden, thank you for the follow. We got a, I mean, if that is the actual Brian Selden, that uh, famous world champion. So,
Yeah. How do we know it's the real Brian Selden?
well,
Say
I'm
something,
pretty.
chat something only Brian Selden would know.
It is okay. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure he like recently joined like the pre-modern group, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is the Brian
Oh,
Selden. So
that's awesome. Welcome, Brian. Glad to have you.
get out your Rexer decks. All right. Uh, the uh, the bank counter slivers here. What's in the sideboard that you like out of this?
Let's take a peek. So obviously the orangutan.
Hmm.
Um, what else? I like a knoll in the deck as well.
Do you like
You
counter
can get
magic?
the.
I mean, it is cheap, I guess. Yeah, yeah. I guess it's cheap enough to
I like it
interact.
better than like absorb,
Sure, that's fair.
or even dissipate. I mean, he's got to get under the scary stuff, as much as possible here. So
And it's a lot easier to sequence a turn like um to have like 3 mana and play a 2 drop and then have a null. Like that sequence is very difficult with a 3 mana counter spell.
for sure. Do you bring in True Believer here to thwart the discard?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's fine. I mean, I guess the downside is that it dies to like a curse scroll, but I think yeah, it seems fine.
And is Meddling Mage good in this scenario?
I don't think it's terrible. I mean, like I like is the counter like what's worth? Are you taking out creatures or are you taking out counter magic? That's kind of like the and
Yeah,
I would take out more of the counter
Meddling.
spells. Yeah, like
Yeah,
but especially if you're bringing in a card like a null, then like how many counter spells do you need? So it's like I would be shaving probably some of the counter magic to bring in. I think like the creatures just it's how you're gonna win in this matchup. So
yeah.
what is the blue card in the middle left in his main deck? And like the one
Is that the sliver that gives
oh wing
slivers
sliver.
line winged
Yep, yep.
sliver from
Okay, yep,
Tempest?
yep. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I actually do. What would you take out? Would you take out the mana leaks or the counter spells?
I guess maybe Mana League is better just because it's easier to cast. Like it's not
Yeah,
very often that Robin gets. I guess he does get to 4 mana, and he does have a decent amount of like one cast spells, so that's like the biggest thing. But blue is not trivial, especially against a deck with Wasteland. So
correct.
maybe Mana League is the choice there.
Yeah, so we take out the counter spells. Maybe you take out the absorbs, put in the annuls, the monkeys, um, the true believer. Call it a day.
Uh, Gabe is suggesting bringing Orum's Chant as a response to like as like a way to counter like Dark Ritual via that sequence. Are you? What do you think about that plan?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a 1-for-1.
Well,
I
yeah,
think Robin's most important cards here is creatures. So it's just what
Robin's
would you be
card.
taking?
You mean
Or not
Aaron?
Robin's, Aaron's most important cards against Robin. So I guess what would you take out, right?
Yeah, I think I'm taking out the absorbs and the dissipates. The players know they can start right. They're still shuffling a little bit.
I'll let
The
him know.
yeah the 3 mana counter spells. So if I'm bringing in yeah probably then maybe just counter spell and then maybe meddling mage. I don't know. I mean meddling mage seems worse than all the slivers, so I don't know. We'll find out. That's my saying is time will tell. Give us some information of
Yeah, Gabe, I think you're right. It does shut down a first turn pit, but so does a null.
you're on
Um,
the draw
yeah,
and
you're
you
on the
only have
draw.
one orange chant, so I don't.
Exactly.
Okay, so do you think which deck got better after sideboard?
I almost want to say Aaron's did. Let me just look at Robin's list here again.
It was like ensnaring bridges and
Yeah,
possibly
yeah, I got
engineering
it.
plague. You're just high on the annuls, or you just think, I
Yeah,
guess,
I
I
think
mean,
I'm probably just high on that Annual Life, perhaps. I mean, the Engineered Plague could be good, but there's only one. Sure, there's three bridges. Can he do anything against a resolved bridge?
Utabi orangutan.
Just the orangutan, right? Okay. And he's got four worldly tutors, so yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think he's in pretty good shape, even if a bridge lands.
Which funny, like the worldly tutor is kind of like the perfect tutor against the discard spells because it puts it on the top
Yep.
of the library. I mean,
Yeah.
usually that's a disadvantage, but against Cabal therapies or I mean, like I guess duress wouldn't take a creature, but putting it on top is often beneficial in this matchup.
Oh, absolutely. The same applies to, Enlightened Tutor, for example, a favorite card of mine, as you know. It just feels really good to cast Enlightened Tutor in response to a Cabal Therapy or Duress.
All right. For some reason, my gut just still says that I feel like Pox Fox is slightly advantaged, but I don't know. I mean, the way that last game played out, it's like Robin deployed a bunch of discard spells and then promptly died. So maybe my perception is definitely misconstrued. So
All right, so we see the Snow-Covered Swamp. We can see Dark Ritual here.
probably. I mean, I guess like your turn's like pretty straightforward if it's just a one drop. Um, so I think Dark Ritual probably makes it so you have a lot more choices. But let's see.
There
Yes,
it
Dark
is.
Ritual
Wow.
and Ensnaring Bridge. Okay. Well, that one is like not the most insane thing to like turbo out because you're still gonna have a bunch of cards in your hand right now, and it doesn't like do anything. So, does that tell us anything about Robin's hand? I mean, maybe because like if you have like bottomless pit in your hand, are you willing to run it out there and then like discard your key spells like Ensnaring Bridge,
I
or do
don't
you
know. I mean,
say I'll play this Ensnaring Bridge and then I'll deploy the bottomless pit, and by that time it would I'd have it locked down. Like I'm discarding my hand, but I have a Ensnaring Bridge in play. Well, with the curse scroll, then I think it's pretty reasonable to wait.
two,
Is
two
that
curse
good?
scrolls. Ah.
All right. So Aaron would really like another sliver that boosts the toughness. Right. This sliver's attacking
There's
for
the
one.
beats. Yeah.
Maybe it was like a pox calculation. He figured that the one damage didn't matter in the first game. That's why.
Perhaps.
All right. Well, we got three lands from Robin. So he has two cards in hand, I think.
Yes.
And there isn't quick. Well, I guess Quicksilver wouldn't change like the the damage. Not like it's going to prevent a plated sliver from dying. But there is no green mana right now from Aaron. Yeah, energy flux would be a card, a card to resolve.
It'd be pretty good. Gabe, I don't have any celebration music queued up, I don't think. I have some stock stuff, but nothing that I prepared especially in advance.
I guess Crystalline Sliver would be a card that would be good here, but he didn't play it on turn two.
Right.
So I mean, I guess maybe he was leaving up counter magic, but I don't know. I feel like you just want to run out that Crystalline Sliver. Well, all right. Well, there we see one. So
So we see a scroll in response here.
sure, he's got a. It looks like a 50-50% chance of hitting. I could be wrong. The cards in the hand could be the same, but there was one game I was playing Sly, and I think there was like a standstill in play, and I had like 6 or 7 cards in my hand, and I'm just like scrolling. I'm like, this is not a good plan, but I'm not don't have anything else to do, so got a one. I think I had like a 1 in 3 chances of like flipping my incinerate and dealing 2 damage. But yeah, I've had some awkward critical moments.
Perish.
Oh, okay, I thought he was casting it. I'm like, that one does not seem optimal to cast, but
All right.
I'm guessing
So
that's not the card he named. I feel like Perish is probably not one you would want to let your opponent know, but
probably not.
well, I guess there's also an argument. I mean, this is like some deep strategy level of thinking of it. Like, Perish is likely to be the card that's stuck in your hand the longest. I guess no, then it wouldn't matter either way. Because if you're gonna play the other card, then it's just revealed. So it's probably better just to not name Perish. All right, we see a Worldly Tutor at a turn.
Are we going to see a monkey?
Probably. That would. I mean, the other. Yeah, because like a second Crystalline Sliver doesn't like really do anything. I was to say it might be insurance against something, but it's like Powder Keg. I think is the only way that he's getting Robin's getting rid of it right now. I guess like maybe there's a sequence of like Pox plus Innocent Blood or
Perish.
something. Well, yeah, sure, but there's no green creatures right now. Well, there will be, but
All right.
all right, Utabi Orangutan.
So here comes the beats for 3. Pressure's back on.
All right, look at these all these key cards. It's just they're all there. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, never mind. I said Powder Keg and not Ensnaring Bridge. Ooh, you can still play in my white bordered format. You can still play Utabi Orangutan. I hope that becomes one of the Explorer leagues.
That's a good idea.
It,
You got your deck all queued up. You're like
no,
just waiting.
I haven't written anything down, so I don't. It could be. It's probably just awful. But all right, back to the game. We got Curse Scroll activations. He will name Perish, and he will go upstairs. There's no other choices. So I guess I missed a Curse Scroll activation earlier, and apparently a damage from something else.
Interesting.
Ball therapy. What would you name?
Um,
Some sort of counter spell, I guess.
I mean,
Like it's what because I feel like any of the creatures he would have played, right?
well, yeah, because he left his mana open, right?
Yeah, I feel like any sliver or
Maybe you
creature
name
you
like a
put,
null or something.
yeah, or maybe just like mana leak because it's more general.
Mhm.
Like this is
Quick sliver.
oh, very quick indeed.
Too quick for Cabal Therapy. Apparently, Aaron is both a fan of foils and white bordered cards.
I did not know. Um, did not know that. So, did you know that Quick Sliver is in the same set as Click Slither? So, I don't know how often you have to say those two in the same sentence, but they're very similar. I am a bigger fan of the Click Slither. I think that card's pretty sweet.
That is a classic. Cool art too.
Yeah. Have you played against this guy in pre-modern?
I haven't seen him. No.
It's like I feel like I see it in some goblins lists, but I never see it in play. So I don't know. But it is awesome. All right.
Hey, welcome, Phil.
So that was a Perish to take out the Utabi Orangutan.
No, it was to take out the quick sliver.
Yeah, Anthony
Right.
wants to brew in all. Oh, I guess yeah. Doomsday is a whiteboarder card. I did not think of that. Though without future, no, Doomsday's not in 7th. It's in like 5th or 6th. uh, without Future Sight, it might be difficult. All right, so the two remaining slivers deal 3 damage, and now we have an okay. Innocent Blood gets prohibited. So that was actually pretty key because
Yeah.
if either of those were to leave play, then his curse scrolls come online. So does Robin have no cards in hand? So he should have curse scroll. I guess if you're playing around Mana Leak, um, there's a reason. And I guess he has a Cobalt Pit too. I don't know if it has threshold, but he could have planned to use that. If for some reason, I guess Aaron sacrificed the crystalline sliver instead of the plated sliver. But
So we got one unknown in Aaron's hand, and then he has another Quicksliver and a Mana Leak, correct?
yep. So I mean, okay, a counter spell, two counter spells.
Hmm.
So yeah, take one of them. Kind of like a counter spell without having to pay the mana, I guess. um, but yeah, I mean, in this situation with a Quicksliver in play that's coming down, this is 4 damage. Even with
Future
a
and Clock.
even with a pox, I well, he's gonna get down to 2, and then he's gonna go down to 1, and there would still be a creature in play. So I don't think Robin has anything. Ensnaring Bridge, okay, that would be the card. But we see the counter magic, so I don't think anything can happen.
All right. Has has the Pox deck lost yet?
No, the Robin's lost with the Wizard's deck, and that's the only time he's lost.
Okay.
But we have seen it now. The Engineered Plague has shown. But we have a first match victory going to the Bant counter Slivers deck.
All right.
Cool. All right, so
Congrats to Aaron.
so that leaves us with our next match. So let's talk about that while our players get ready. I mean, I guess we'll keep the screen up, I guess, for a bit. I guess they're kind of showing how they're sideboarding. So we see Ensnaring Bridges, the Engineered Plague, and the Parish. Wait, he took out Wasteland?
Interesting.
I would not have expected that. Because I feel like Aaron's mana base is somewhat fragile.
Yeah, I would agree.
There are quite a few non-slivers in the slivers deck. There's Meddling Mage in the main, and then there's I think some sideboard cards, but I think that in the main deck they're pretty much all slivers.
Yeah, it's just the Meddling Mages.
We just see kind of like a toolbox sideboard because of the Worldly Tutors. So we saw
Slivers in
that.
pre-modern aren't quite as good as they are in modern, so you got to improvise a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Yep, it looks like the absorbs came out. And that was which sliver is that? I don't even.
That is
Is that like a gain life sliver? Or
where
we got a wing sliver,
is
so
it Victual Sliver?
yeah. I think so. Yeah, that one's probably not at its best. No. 2 mana 2/2 is a clock, I guess. Alright, so let's now look at the decks. So the second match that we have is determined given that their other deck is banned. So the Oath of Clerics deck is next up for Robin. You want to talk about this deck?
I'm gonna message them real quick and just kind of let them know to start shuffling up.
Yeah.
If you want to jump in.
Yeah, okay. So what this deck is a tribal aggressive deck, but it also has some I don't know if it has some resiliency, I guess. Like cards like Oath of Clerics will often get you a card back, and then like the Dark Supplicant can get you a Sign of Darkness, which provides it a different angle. But the there's also a couple copies of Braids for like disruptive element. Yes, Aaron banned the blue, white, red wizards. Uh, and then, but one thing I want to talk about is the Shepherd of Rot. Is this card gives the Oath of Clerics deck a lot of reach. There are a lot of situations where the creatures might be at a board stall, but then Shepherd of Rot uh, will come down and deal some big chunks. And it also has the exciting option of drawing the game since it makes each player lose life. So maybe that's something we can root for is that Robin has to use Shepherd of Rot to draw the game. So Aaron's deck that he has picked is the Jund Fires. So this is the red, green, black. The red cards are for Thunderscape Familiar, Fires of Yavimaya, Lightning Bolt, a couple Shivan Worms, and then some sideboard cards. So it's pretty similar in terms of a game plan from the traditional rock decks. It just has some more aggressive elements because of the more creature bases and the Fires of Yavimaya. So how do you think this matchup's going to play out?
Good question. So in terms of Robin being on the play again on the start, I mean, he's got duresses here, which I would say aren't quite as good as they might be in other matches. And if he lets Aaron ramp it all with mana rocks, then I think he's in trouble. So if I'm Robin, I really just want to try to get a critical mass of zombies as fast as possible. Um, but I do think that this might actually be a tougher matchup than he's encountered in other matches this season. What do you
Sure.
think?
Yeah, there's definitely answers to the creatures, and the creatures on the other side of the board will. Well, I think some of the times he played the Clerics deck, it was against like a combo deck, and there just wasn't any resistance on the other side of the board. Well, you're going to see Blastoderms and Ravenous Baloths, and that's going to cause us problems for your creatures attacking. But then there's also problem cards of like efficient removal spells like Lightning Bolt and Pernicious Deed that can, if you do try and go wide, it can just wipe out your whole board. So I have Pernicious Deed listed as a key card. Typically, with the decks that play it, it is one of the better cards. It's a great way to get card advantage. Not only is it just like good in a lot of situations, but it also might change the way that Robin plays, even if there isn't a Pernicious Deed on the board, because he's respecting that card coming down and wiping out the board. So Robin might play a little more conservatively, even if Aaron doesn't even draw the Pernicious Deed. So just having that in your deck, I think, provides some value. The other card is Lightning Bolt. There's 3 copies, I think, in the Junfire's Rock deck, but it's just an efficient removal spell, and just being able to take out some of the creatures from Robin might buy him some time, save him some life, or just create a situation where he can kind of turn the tables. The Oath of Clerics, I think a big player is the Rotlung. I spelled that wrong. Rotlung Reanimator.
The Rotong.
Yes, the Rotlung Reanimator, and because that card has like that built-in resistance to removal spells, it just will provide a source of a fake counter or card advantage. And then the other one is the Shepherd of Rot. And so if the ground does get gummed up, Robin has a way to kind of sneak through damage. So that's what I predict. Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think he just really wants to get some really quick early damage in, like cards like Priest of Gix, like a ritual Priest of Gix, and then maybe 2 more zombies would be a really good first turn play for him. Following that up with like a turn 2 disruption spell, like a duress for a deed. And then a turn 3 or 4 Rotlung or Shepherd would be, I think, a really, really strong start that could probably carry him through a game. So I think he wants a pretty aggressive start here, and he wants a slow start from Aaron as much as possible.
Is Priest of Gix a whiteboarded card? Is there a whiteboarded version of this?
Um,
Is it in like
oh, I don't know.
I feel like it is in one of
I feel
the
like it is now that you said that. I'm like, I think maybe it
in
is,
one
but
of
is
like
it?
the battle whatever they were called, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so I will update the poll. We can figure out who we think is going to win this match.
I messaged the players and let them know that they can go ahead and get started. Ritual Rotlung from Robin here. pretty good.
Right.
And it's going to get bolted ASAP.
Yep. How did the screens get flipped around? Oh, it's just okay, because I'm on a different scene. That's why. All right. I'm like the players didn't change anything, so let me fix this. All right. That looks a little bit better. Uh, yeah. Robin is drawn Dark Ritual a lot. Okay. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
maybe.
I thought his screen had frozen, but um, so he's got a zombie that is here after that Rolling Reanimator got taken out. But it is good for Aaron to take it off the board.
Absolutely. Comical Flop game count is back to zeros because we are in match 2. I guess we don't have a way to indicate who's ahead on matches, but we'll keep everyone apprised. So Shepherd of Rot here is the follow-up. Aaron's going to take another point. We see another bolt. No, it's a bird.
Yeah, and the Shepherd of Rot counts zombies, so that token is a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
While there is a good amount of overlap between the clerics and the zombies in Robin's deck, so there is a hefty amount of zombies actually.
Comical Flop match count is 1-0. So Aaron won the first match, best of 3. So this is their second match. They'll do best of 3 for this. And if it's 1-1 on matches, then they'll play a third best of 3 match. But if Aaron wins this one best of 3, then it's done. All right. It looks like people have Aaron winning 67%.
Yes, it does appear that way. So the crowd predicts that the reigning champion will fall. So we'll see if
Another rot one.
that's pretty good. So is there kind of like a turning point of like if this board state of just like a big creature comes down, does that make things awkward for Robin?
I mean, it could be a good blocker, but I mean, Aaron's ahead or Robin's
Oh,
ahead on life right now, and so that Shepherd of Rot is going to do the Lord's work here soon.
yeah, I didn't realize that Aaron was so low.
Yeah, I mean, I think an ideal play would probably be a Ravenous Baloth here, and maybe a Lightning Bolt and a Baloth, but he doesn't quite have the mana to do both. But he's
Yeah,
got to get that Shepherd Rot off the table as soon as possible.
and adding a second City of Brass is
Doesn't
makes
doesn't
things look
help.
a little bit grim.
Okay. Yeah, this it's a little rough now. So Blastoderm, nasty blasty, as you like to say, right? He's a good beast, but he's just so far down on life now.
It likely will prevent Robin from attacking. I guess there's a chance that he wants to trade 2 damage for one of his creatures, but it looks like he does.
Yeah,
I guess you would probably want to use the Shepherd of Rot before, right?
before damage. You can do it before damage still and just wait and see what Aaron does.
Yeah. Oh, so okay. So Aaron's blocking the Rotling Reanimator. So I guess this gives um, Aaron the out of like having a land and a Pernicious Deed, and then being in a somewhat reasonable spot. So he's going to use this for 3.
Yeah, land deed would be good. Land ravenous Baloth would be good.
Oh, Gem Palm Polluter. Oh, okay. Oath of Clerics. Oath of Ghouls.
He's not running polluter, is he?
Yeah. Is he not? Maybe he's not.
He's not.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, that I guess is an angle that is not present then. So I guess that's good news for Aaron. Yeah. I mean, oh, we saw Wasteland take out City Brass. So the option to do a deed for 2 before the Shepherd of Rot is not possible. Yeah, I don't think he needed this Oath of Ghouls though. I mean, agree it's a good draw, but I don't think it'll really come into play. Okay, so
Deed.
yep, there's a deed, but I think it's too slow, right? There's
Yeah.
there's three zombies in play. Well, so here with the oath, it'll be able to, assuming yeah, there's no creatures in Aaron's graveyard, so and even if there weren't, he'd just activate it and then I guess deed for with an activation. I guess you deed for 0 or wait till he uses the Shepherd Rot and then deed for 0. It gets rid of the tokens. I think Aaron's draw has been fine. You just look at the sequence of cards with like Bolt Bird. I guess deed before Blastoderm would have been ideal, but it's just that Robin can come out of the gates pretty quick. And
Hmm.
so, okay, so he's using the deed now. So I'm trying to think about this. So if Aaron were to pass and say, okay, you can have an untapped Shepherd Rot, Robin does not have the. If he ever taps it, then Aaron always has the option to tap it for more, or to activate the deed for 0.
He's gonna scoop.
I guess it would allow him to add another zombie. But okay, yeah. So I guess Aaron needed like a Ravenous Baloth, I think. Okay,
All
let's
right.
look at the sideboards, see if things are changing there.
Mhm. Which one are you pulling up first?
I have the Oath of Clerics up.
All right. Another parish.
Yeah, this one I think is a little bit better in this matchup than it was
Yeah.
in the last one.
Seems legit.
Do you like a card like Snuff Out? It doesn't hit like I guess yeah, it hit there's Shivan Worm and Ravenous Baloth and like your life total. I guess your life total is somewhat of a resource with Shepherd of Rat. So I don't know. It's interesting. There's a tension there between your life and using Snuff Out. The Grave Pack seems kind of
I was
exciting.
just gonna say, Grey Pack seems real good.
Yeah. Um, Even a call like Cabal Archon, I can see having a place. Though in that game, it doesn't seem like it would have really pulled its weight.
Yeah. I think Cabal Archon's better in the longer games, right? And Robin just wants to close the game out as fast as possible.
Uh, Cabal Archon also could be like decent in games where like your creatures aren't able to get through, and if you have like 2 or 3 clerics, you can just deal like 4 to 6 damage.
Sure.
It also is like pretty cute with if you have Oath of Ghouls in play. You're just like you can block, use its ability. So you're like saving some life and draining and gaining and staving off like a Blastoderm and just looping that. So I don't know if it'll come in, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's a card that he chooses to bring in. Okay, so the Jump Rockfires. So Earthquake seems like a card that definitely can do stuff. Um, and Flame Tongue Kavu also seems really great.
Yeah.
Terminate seem fine. What cards are you taking out? Are you taking out like Duresses? Take out.
Yeah. I think you definitely take out the dresses. I mean, to some extent, is he gonna bring in naturalize here? Um, you know, um, Grave Pact is backbreaking, but are there other targets? Oath of Ghouls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious. Those might be the main ones. Maybe he brings in one or two naturalizes, but in terms of taking out cards,
Spirit
yeah,
Monger.
Duress, Spirit Monger.
I mean, I don't know if you take out Corrosion Tusker, but I mean, like the creature half of Corrosion Tusker and Spirit Monger do not seem that good. There's just almost always creatures on the other side of the board, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so if he takes those out, that's 2, 6. That's 6 cards. Which 6 are you bringing in here?
Bring in 2 Earthquake, 2 Flame Tongue Kabu.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I think on average Terminate does more than Naturalize because you do have the deeds to get rid of Grave Pact. Because I mean,
Yeah.
like if you have a board state and you're activating deed for 4, you're gonna lose your creatures anyways. So it's not like the Grave Pact does anything of like if the deed goes off, but obviously like 7 mana is a lot, or spreading out over 2 turns. But and there is only one Grave Pact, so I don't I don't know if I like Naturalize enough to. I think I would bring in Terminate over it, but that's just me.
Gracefully balding the same. Maybe take out the fires as well. What do you
The
think?
It's possible. The one thing that like the fires does is it like it's kind of like it makes things difficult for Robin of like how he does combat math. So I guess he does add like a decent amount of creatures anyways, and so I'm just trying to think if there might be situations where he's afraid to attack with certain things because like a hasty Blaster might come down. But I guess he's probably gonna have creatures to get in the way anyways.
If you ditch 3 fires, right, that opens up more cards for you, right? So that would be a total of 9 cards. So you could bring in 2 Flame Tongue, 2 Earthquake, 3 Terminate, and then you could even bring in like a Tormod's Crypt if you really
Yeah.
wanted to disrupt graveyard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Does that
Uh,
seem like a better iteration of the deck?
Also, I guess we forgot to mention that there's like Withered Wretch in the deck for Robin, so maybe you feel like Recurring Nightmare has to come out just because there's too many times that like that 2/2. No,
Sure.
I mean like you do have a ton of removal in your deck. You could just say, okay, it's like yeah, you'll exile my graveyard, but then the game will go on, and then my Recurring Nightmare will go get live because obviously that card is very powerful. So I'm not sure. I could see it either way. What deck do you like in the sideboard games? I feel like Aaron improves his deck more than Robin does.
I agree. I really think he does. I mean, Parish
Aaron,
is obviously backbreaking, but just the sheer number of cards Aaron's able to change out.
yeah, and they're like pretty impactful cards. Cards like Earthquake and Flame Kabu are pretty good. All right, so
All
we're
right.
starting game 2 of match 2. So Aaron is up a match, but down a game.
Mhm.
So
The viewers at home can't see him, but Early the dog is pawing at the ground, just making the perfect bed to lie down in, so he can watch how this game plays out. He's very excited.
got to make sure all those carpet fibers are in the exact location that he prefers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very important aspect of nap time. Looks like Robin's taking a second mulligan.
He's definitely taking one. I guess I wasn't paying attention to see if he had a mulligan prior to that. But yeah, I guess with the mulligan would really hurt Robin, especially if Aaron's keeping 7. It just makes because I think Aaron is more likely to play the control role, especially after the sideboarded games. And if Robin's mulliganing, I think it just makes it a lot harder for him to get him in. I'll call it like burn range, or just like low enough where he can alpha through or use a Shepherd of Rot to finish him off. So I think the mulligans will really hurt Robin in this game.
Did we lose Robin? Screen looks frozen on my end.
I agree. It does seem frozen. Oh, we're getting it back.
It's that McDonald's Wi-Fi he's using that Rich Bork mentioned earlier in chat. Rich, I think it's Starbucks technically.
I can hear some thunder now and then, so knowing my luck, like something will short out and then the stream will go down.
Oh no.
But we'll see. Actually, we haven't had too many like internet hiccups. I don't know how often they happen for streamers, but been pretty good. So
Knock on wood.
yeah.
Page Andrew Walker. Page Andrew Walker, I need you on standby. It's the finals. This is too important.
All right, so is Aaron putting a card in the bottom as well?
Either that or he's getting ready to play a land.
Okay, I think I would say
Looks like he's gonna flip it.
because I would
Put
say
his thumb under
he
it.
could have probably already resolved that at this point. I think, or maybe not. I don't know what the order is. If one player is mulliganing like 2 or 3 times, does the player that mulliganed once, would he put the card on bottom before the opponent? Like, do you have to make the decision before your opponent decides to keep? I don't even know.
My understanding of it is like the active player, whoever's gonna go first, decides if they're gonna take the mulligan, and then after they decide, then the other player does, right?
Yeah, so
And
let's
then
say player on the play mulligans, player on the two mulligans, player on the play keeps. Does he put the card on bottom right away, or does he wait till player two says like finishes mulliganing?
I don't know if that would it matter?
Well, there might be a certain situation, like if your opponent mulliganed to two, like you might keep a different card. I don't know. I don't think it would come into play very often, but certainly
Yeah,
certainly
fair.
there are some situations where it might make
That's
a
fair.
difference. All right, here we see Dark Supplicant. So this is kind of like I, this guy's pretty sweet. So,
I really want to see a Scion of Darkness.
well, I mean, I guess we didn't talk about the Scion of Darkness very much, but it's definitely a card that's difficult to deed away. But there are terminates, so well, so it's not just 100% safe, but the Scion of Darkness, the 8 mana 6/6 trampler, when it hits the opponent, you can reanimate a creature of theirs. We see Aaron's just developing his mana. So birds. All right, we got Cabal Therapy here. What are you naming?
Ravenous Baloth.
Ravenous Baloth. Okay.
I almost feel like there's a Flame Tongue Kavu coming or something too, but we'll see.
Trojan Tusker, Tormod's Crypt. That was a cyber card we didn't talk about. I guess you did briefly. Earthquake and then Llanowar Wastes. So given that nothing's hit in the graveyard, looks like that was not any of the cards named.
That's right, Graceful Balding.
Ooh.
Sign of Darkness is the anti-Jund
Ooh.
Rockfire's meta call. Oh
Ooh.
god.
Oh my goodness. That's a very good card here.
What's he exiling?
Priest of Gix. So the alternate cost is paid, and he's able to put 2 -2/-1 counters distributed on any number of target creatures. So 2 Birds of Paradise down, and the Dark Supplicant gets in. Oh, I guess he had to pay a life to use that.
Wow, the one in the deck.
Yeah, getting
Pretty good.
getting 2 birds. I mean, I guess like there's a lot of situations like you can get birds, you can get the I guess there's only 2 of the Thunder Escape Familiar.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you're Aaron, you play out the Tormod script now, right? I mean, Robin knows about it. Okay, good.
yeah, I don't think there's any benefit. There's no cards like Funeral Charm or something where having a card to discard in your hand is relevant. So
All right.
uh,
All right, so you got a Tusker.
oh, Aaron has himself. Okay, I had these flipped. So wait, Aaron had. Why did no Aaron fetched and then he took a damage from the Dark Supplicant, so he was at 18 and now he. So, yeah, Aaron's at 18.
He's at 18. Yeah. It's a nice mountain he's got there.
Yes, Bob Baker would be
Yeah.
proud.
Yeah, big fan of that one, as we've talked about before.
The green factor fiction, maybe the green divination. Factor fiction is stretching it. Like,
that's a bit of a stretch.
the first match went to Aaron. The Bant counter
Yeah.
Slivers defeated Pox. So we see Pernicious Deed. All right.
Dirty deeds.
This is kind of just an insurance policy right now, and Robin only has 1 land, so we see a Dark Ritual. But if Aaron just resolves a big creature, Ravenous Baloth, Blastoderm, or if it's cards like the Spiritmonger or whatnot are still in play, that could be pretty good. So we see the Withered Wretch gets turboed out with the Dark Ritual, and then he uses the other mana to exile the Corrosion Tusker. So that's the most formidable recurring nightmare card. So he'll get rid of that one.
Yeah, he really just needs some pressure here. Oh man.
Yep. So his hand is Swamp and Bolt. I mean, probably just Bolt this, but I don't know.
Guess. Yeah.
You can make arguments not to, but all right. Well, there's a backup one. Okay.
Doppelganger has showed up.
Yeah. How many cards? Is it just one card left for Robin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good draws for Aaron at this point. His creatures are on average are going to be a lot bigger. We see a Blastoderm. Okay.
Okay.
This card's real good right here. That's this one.
Username Nasty Blasty has entered the chat.
All right, we see Dark Supplicant. There's a Dream, right? So these are both Clerics. So, all right. I guess the Dream is unlikely to happen given that there's a Pernicious Steed in play.
Yeah.
Because if Robin put a Cleric on the stack, Aaron would have the option to activate the Deed for 2.
Probably want to crack his Crypt and then a response
Sure.
Deed for 2.
Yeah.
Hey, 90s MTG with a rating party of 51. Welcome. We're in match 2 of the finals.
Yep. So what we're doing tonight, we have the finals match between Robin and Aaron. They are playing up to 3. They're playing a best of 3 matches. So they played they have 3 different decks. They played a best of 3 match already. Aaron won that one. Now we're in our second best of 3 match. So Robin has won the first game of the second match. So if Aaron wins the next 2, then he is the Premodern Showdown Series 2 champion. But if he loses this match, then we're going to a third match. So we see the Spirit Monger come down. So that was a card that I was thinking would come out. Just there would be too many creatures that would get in the way of it. But it looks pretty good here.
It's the welcoming committee for the rating party.
Yes, everyone's favorite green-black creature. Can you name any other green-black creatures in Premodern?
I mean, there are probably a whole host from Legends, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they did like the enemy. Oh, I guess there's some, but Arca Valeri, thank you for the follow. Man, usernames are really hard to read, even when they're like they're not that complicated. But so we see a Flametongue Kavu takes down the remaining creature. What do we have for life totals?
It looks like Robin's at 9 and Aaron's at 18.
Okay.
Ebony Tree Folk, yes.
Yeah, that was gonna be the one that I liked. Like, that's one of those cards. Is like, it feels like it's close enough. Like, I guess I wouldn't like scoff at anyone playing this. All right. Meanwhile, we have the Junfire's Rock just cleaning up. I mean, with a bunch of beastie boys in play, and the Pernicious Steed. Robin can't do anything. So Aaron has equalized these games, and he's not gonna. Yeah, Wild Mount Girl is a black green creature. Yeah, that's fair. I'll give creativity points there. Yeah, I mean, like, Ebony Tree Folk it's respectable. I don't know. All right, let's go over to the decks for the players that have tuned in since they can get a look at what we're seeing. The Oath of Clerics deck is pretty aggressive, has some disruptive elements, but it looks to flood the board with a bunch of Clerics, and then it has Shepherd of Rot kind of as a reach. A lot of the Clerics are also zombies, so that can deal some damage. And then the Jund Rockfires deck is the 3-color black, green, red control deck. Well, aggro control aggro maybe. But post board he's much more controlling. If he's options to bring in Terminates and Flametongue Kabus and Earthquakes. So lots of ways to get rid of the creatures.
Oh my.
Yes. You brought up Llanowar Dead. Yep, that's a reasonable card.
Yeah, Yeah, and they brought up Vadia Doll in chat as well. I
Okay.
remember I loved that card when it came out. I thought it was such a cool concept.
That one's from Tempest, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's uh, jump back over to the match. Is there a sweet combo with this guy? I guess like the problem is like pre-modern like creatures usually aren't that important to have like to be devoting so many resources in like a combo with like Body Doll.
Yeah, we used to play a lot of like group, kitchen table Magic back in the day, and it was always just a fun card to have on the battlefield because the player could intervene in any kind of combat they wanted to intervene
Mm-hmm.
in. And yeah, Anthony, he actually did run a Tim deck, so he ran Prodigal Sorcerers, and it was like he splashed green just for Vadia Doll.
Okay, okay.
No, not a powerhouse by any means, but hey, you give him 20, 30 turns and look out.
That's how
That,
Magic used to be. That was the
yeah,
good old days.
the Death Pit's a Wrath comes down, Vadia Doll makes an appearance at some point, gets
So,
wild.
so the thing I used to do with my deck is it was a 5 color deck, but it had um Tidal Visionary. So you can change the colors of creatures. And then I had the cycle. I think I played man, I don't know what my mana base was like because I think I played all like the possessed cards. I don't know if you know the cycle from Torment, but with Threshold, they all become black and can like tap to destroy
Yeah.
a creature of that color.
Yep.
So I had a bunch of these and like I could change the colors of my opponent's creatures and then just kill them. So that's
Nice.
that's better than just making their toughness one. I just get rid of them.
That's right, kids. In our day, we had to use multiple cards in a very circuitous route in order to combo off, so to speak. It
Well,
wasn't just play
also
one card, then play a second.
just being bad at Magic also made it helpful to be able to play these combos. I mean, it's like we were pretty casual. I remember the first. I don't know why we played this card because like I think we still had um we had like Thorn Elementals, but like this card was cooler. The Death Coil Worm. It's like a bad Thorn Elemental, and
Nice.
but it was way cooler. So I don't know.
I like that picture. It looks like something you would see like on a medieval tapestry or something.
Yeah, I was saying like the goblins almost remind me of like cave paintings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had a deck with this, and I would put Feast of the Unicorn.
Is that where you sack a creature to give something +4/+0, or
No, I don't remember what set this originally in, but I think it's in
it's
fifth.
in like Homelands or Fallen
Yeah,
Empires?
yeah, I think it's Homelands. Yeah, +4 plus
Oh,
0.
it just gets +4/+0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's a white bordered card, Mike.
Oh yeah, this was. Oh, this is not the art that I expected. What set is it? Was the original?
It's
Or
Homelands
that?
originally.
No,
It
no.
looks like there's multiple
Oh,
art,
okay,
but
that's what it was. Okay, yeah,
yeah.
this. Ah, so this guy's. I've never seen this art, or I never recalled seeing it.
It looks like a scene out of the movie Legend. Did you ever see Legend back in the day? It's like old Tom Cruise. I mean, he's like super young. I think it was one of his first films, if not his first film.
No, I don't. I don't even know if I heard of that movie. But I am the worst when it comes
Tim
to movies.
Curry,
If
Tom Cruise, it was really bizarre, but it's very nostalgic for me.
first deck I specifically bought singles for was a red green deck. Then I wanted to jam turn 2 Shivan with Orcish Lumberjack. Yeah, that's actually a pretty sweet combo.
That's pretty good.
I'm trying to think the first deck that I bought like individual cards for. It. I mean, it might have just been like goblins though. I remember I didn't want to play my brother if I didn't like I saw a deck on like the internet of what a goblin list should look like, and I wanted to get all the cards, and I didn't want to like play the deck like I only had like 3 goblin pile drivers. I'm like I can't play this deck. It won't be good enough. And I played like my brother who's just like playing green white creatures or whatnot, and obviously I just crush them. But I'm like, all right, this deck pretty good. by 4 Siege Gang Commanders, 4 Goblin War Chiefs, three Goblin Pile Driver. Pretty good against his random green white creature deck.
Nice. Hey, I'm gonna pop out for just 1 second. I let them know that they could get started.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so as the players are finishing mulliganing, I have not paid attention to if and how many times they've mulliganed. But it seems like they've been shuffling for a while, so. White bordered Derailleur looks weird to me. It's probably just because you're used to seeing it black bordered, but I don't even know what set it was white bordered in. In 5th edition? Okay. Alright, we see a Swamp and a Dark Ritual, a Priest of Gix, and a Rotling Reanimator, so wham bam. We got some 4 power creatures, turn 1, and the Rotling is kind of the built-in insurance against removal spells, so definitely a good start for Robin. So he's got like 2 other cards in hand, so it looks like he mulliganed once then. Alright, so Aaron is starting off by fetching for a mountain.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
You missed a Dark Ritual and 2 creatures being played on turn 1.
That's pretty good. That's kind of what we were talking about before this match started. Right, really the blisteringly fast Priest of Gix starts.
So the Priest of Gix is not a zombie, right? I think it's a cleric. Is that correct?
It's a cleric.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it won't trigger off of the Rotling Reanimator.
Human Cleric Minion is its full title.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's 3 clerics.
All right, that's a way to do it. But I mean, like, there's a terminate in hand, so I don't think that's uh something you're looking to do. Though I guess you could activate the Dark Supplicant. You get a zombie token because of the Rotlung dying, and then you could flashback. It was Cabal Therapy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can flashback Cabal Therapy named Terminate. But then you don't get to like name Corrosion Tusker and reanimate a Corrosion Tusker. That's the problem. This Dark Supplicant's dying.
That's pretty good. I mean, he's got 6 power on the board now, and Aaron's at 15. So he's going to put Aaron down to 8 next turn.
Is it? I mean,
and add to the board. He could kill him the following turn if Aaron can't
yeah.
do anything.
I mean, I know it's scary to let him untap with that, but is Robin really gonna? I guess because he does have Cabal Therapy, that's very tricky. Well, we do see a naturalize in Aaron's hand, so that has come in. Really, some number of them. Right.
Sorry, down to 9, not 8.
Yeah. So
6 power, not 7.
with the Dark Supplicant dying, it actually increases the clock because it's now a 2/2 zombie token instead of the 1/1. Yeah, Tormod's Crypt is not very good right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like I wonder how many of these like Tormod's Crypt naturalized cards are. Because it's just like if you're drawing too many of these, then I mean I guess if you're not drawing a 4th land, you're not doing anything anyways. So he needs to hit. You really need a land, I think, in this turn to have a. I guess if this is Pernicious Deed, then. But the Rotlung Reanimator would leave a 2/2.
Yep. We'll leave 2.
It would leave 1 token, right?
Well, it would trigger for the Rotlong and for the priest, right? When you get two twos.
Oh, it is cleric. Yeah, I was thinking it was a zombie.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yep. All right, we see earthquake. So that was for
two.
2. Okay, so both players are going to take 2, and then we will see the 2 zombie tokens. All right, that's I mean, he'll go down to 3. He could play. Problem is if he's taking a damage for casting one of these green creatures in his hand, he'd go down to 2, which is not a good life total. Oops.
He needs a land here, right? Oh, it's a city, so he's still going to take two.
You can play.
Bailoff. So it's really just a fog, right?
You get to block 1 and then gain 4, so it's +2 life.
Is it another Dark Supplicant, or is that that's a
No,
Withered
a
Wretch?
withered wretch. And okay, so Robin did not attack. Really? Wouldn't you attack there?
I would definitely attack there.
You make him sacrifice the Ravenous Baloth.
Yep, and you don't lose any creatures.
And here he could play like a Blastoderm. Interesting.
Well, can he play a Blastoderm?
Yeah, you just City, Brass, and Forest. He's
Oh,
at
yeah. Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking of the ways. So he's actually going to swing in?
no.
I don't know if I don't think that I swing in.
I don't think you.
Just play that Blastoderm and pass.
Well, I mean, how are you getting out of this situation? Like maybe you need to attack. Maybe I'm wrong. Because like if you're just sitting back, like what's gonna happen?
He does have to apply pressure sooner rather than later, but
Like you would need to draw Swamp
he's
and
going to go to.
Deed, and like I guess you could sacrifice a beast to gain life, right? We see a Deed.
Crack with it on the stack, pop the deed, or is he?
With what on the stack?
I guess it doesn't matter because he's not trying to get rid of any creatures in play.
Okay, so um the tokens are taken out. Okay, is there a reason to wait there or not to wait? Like, what's the downside of just like making him attack?
He's in a rough spot now because he like has to sack his Bailoff if he wants to play anything else, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, he could wait until he draws like another non-pain source of
You're
green.
just gonna pass and then Tusker.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if Robin's not applying more pressure, then Dark Supplicant. Okay. I mean, Aaron might pull this off. We see
Not
the
out of it.
Frozen Tusker. Mike likes the attack. He likes the idea of
Yeah,
attacking.
they think that Robin should have attacked.
Oh, Robin attacking. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anthony, Mike, etc. Yeah, we were saying it does force the
Yeah.
sacrifice. I think he should have. Will
Well,
you bring up Dark Supplicant?
yeah. These games are always really exciting because obviously Aaron has his back against the wall, but it's really rewarding if you're ever able to pull one of these games out.
Mhm.
Dark
Because
Supplicant.
he wants to play Bailoff here, but there's a reality where Robin drops another cleric and then gets the Dark Supplicant
Yeah.
or gets the Scion of Darkness. Okay, so he could do it if he plays a cleric, and then
Well,
let's bring up.
Aaron has 2. He can cast Blastoderm, so he'd be able to block a Sign of Darkness with both the beasts.
Will you bring up Scion for us?
Yeah.
Sweet. I mean, I kind of want it to happen.
One interesting interaction, and I mean, it could come up if this game goes on for a number of turns. But if you have a Dark Supplicant and Pernicious Deed, like if you activate the deed for like 2 or 3 to blow up all Robin's clerics, you could respond and put a 8 mana creature into play. So, all right, we see the Rotland Reanimator. So that guy is problematic.
I think that's the
Or
Shepherd of Rot.
Shepherd of Rot, yeah, Shepherd of Rot. So that guy needs to be dealt with in pronto. I guess there's still life gain, so maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking. This Blastoderm should have 2 counters, right?
Yes.
Really, Aaron just wants like creatures or something like to get in the way so he can like attack with, so he can start just pressuring Realms like though I guess you can't really attack here because of Sign of Darkness. Yeah, that would be awkward. If I mean, I guess you gain 4 life. Like it commits him down to 1 creature, like makes him get rid of his Shepherd of Rot. And like if you had like something like a terminate in play, then you like sack the beast and then you terminate the. I guess because you can't cast terminate without taking a damage. Right, so here's attack.
Sacking now?
Well, if you pass a turn and the shepherd has, I don't know. I guess you could always wait. Wait, why is Robin at 15? Robin should be at 13, right? We had him take 2. I thought at some point. What did I have him taking 2 from?
I don't know what he would have. Oh, from the earthquake.
Yeah. You want to message them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that he can activate like Dark Supplicant, but what does that have to do? Like, you could just sacrifice it whenever he's activated in the Shepherd of Rot. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. But we see green. Okay, so here's a deed. So well, so we get to see this interaction though. Now how does this work? Well, Aaron has. Well, if he's just deeding for 2 here, that's gonna be problematic.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
just going to sack him, right?
yeah, and now he's gonna get a 6/6 trampler that's gonna be able to reanimate something.
Yeah. That Blastoderm, that Croson Tusker.
What would you take? Take a Blastoderm.
Yeah, I would take the Blastoderm for sure.
Um, what is this? I guess if Aaron just passed, like, does that change anything? Like, does
What
that?
is he?
Because he would have 3 mana up. I guess you would like fear. Like, I don't know if Robin would go for it. Like, Robin still has the option of doing that at end of turn and attacking with Sign of Darkness. But here, like, if you're doing it right away, wait, is there no Sign of Darkness in the deck? Wait,
What? Did he board it out? No, there it is.
oh, wait, he's cycling that. It was in his hand. Can you not?
Oh.
The Dark Supplicant can't get it from your hand.
Oh my God.
No, it says
Wow.
it says search your graveyard, hand, and or library, and put it into play. But I don't understand.
I don't.
I am so confused. All right, well,
I am too.
there's a Priestic X. but that doesn't line up very well against the 4/4.
Wow.
But if you're, I don't know if you, okay, so that gets bolted, and now there's a clock here.
So Wishner in chat says he missed the ability on the Shepherd. The Shepherd was summoning sick, right?
Yeah,
He hadn't untapped with it yet.
yeah.
So
So
he
he
didn't
was.
miss that.
It looked like he had tapped the Dark Supplicant in response to an activation of a deed, but then like nothing happened. Then he untapped and played a priest and cycled the dark and cycled the Scion. So I was, and since you can put it into play from your hand, I don't. It was either in his deck or in his hand. So
Yeah.
all right. So this Ravenous Baloth will put Robin to 5.
He tapping 4 here. Does he have another one? Another Blastoderm?
Ooh, that's good. That's
It's very, very good.
so. If Robin doesn't have a creature, ooh, is this Grave Pact? Okay.
It is great fact.
If Robin doesn't have any cards in hand, I think you still just attack.
Aaron is going to take, he's taking 2. Is he terminating?
Why? Wait, why does Robin pack it up? Oh, he's doing it in response to the Grave Pact. Okay. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So it looks
Wow.
like Aaron has taken down Robin, and that will make Aaron the Premodern Showdown Series 2 champion. So let's listen to the players and see if they're talking about maybe
All right.
what happened at the end of that match.
Sounds good.
Game 2, I mulled a 1-lander in game 3, and I drew a 1-lander, which was fun. But so I actually top decked the second swamp there on game 2, in game 3. I kept the 1-lander because it had obviously land, like it had the ritual priest Rotlung into Disciple, which is great. But it also had the Scion in hand start. The 6 I molded in game 1 was, or sorry, the 7 I molded in game 3, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about, was land, ritual, supplicant, withered wretch, Scion Dark. So I had the exact, like, oh, I can Scion early. It's in my hand.
Oh,
The Sign of Darkness was not, Sign of Darkness or my mana was really not on my side in these matches. If I could have Scioned that turn, I mean, you had forgotten what Dark Supplicant does even.
yeah.
If I could have signed that turn, I would have just flung in and killed you on the swing back. But no dice. I was a little surprised to see the Natural Life, but thinking about it, it makes sense because you can see my sideboard. So you know that I bring in another good card and the 2 O's. But I assume you didn't bring in all the Natural Lights, just a few.
No, I just brought in one, literally one.
Yeah, that makes sense because you only have 3 hits. So.
And of course, it's like in my hand.
So here's the ironic thing.
It was a dead card for so much of that game. I thought it was going to wind up dead.
Yeah, well, I mean, Oath of Ghosts is just so good against you, and so is Grave Pact. Like having
Right.
all my 1/1 works just trade 1 for 1 with your giants. Like you can't have that happen, you know.
Yeah.
The annoying thing with Grave Pact is you have so much removal that by the time I play it, at least these games, all my creatures are dead. If I could curve out into it, that would have been another story maybe. I actually bought my duress because that I have time to sit and try to like, oh, I'm gonna pull him out and then duress away the creature. Like I have to be a little less. I need to have a little less finesse than that, and just kind of be like, I'm gonna play a ton of creatures, hope that I have a Rotlang or a Great Pact or removal for his guys, and just try to tempo him out.
For me, I felt like duress was horrible against you. Like I'm never gonna use it. And
yeah.
Like,
I expect you to board him out.
I did. Yeah, that was.
Yeah. I think to cut them and the fires for 7 cards in.
No, I did not sideboard out the fire. I sideboarded out 1 fires, I think, and then just did the recursion. Actually, I didn't think I was going to get enough time to start doing graveyard shenanigans, so I sideboarded out.
Oh, you have a recurring Nightmare main. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
okay,
I had
so
1 main, 1 sideboard, and I sideboarded out the second one because.
So did you not bring in all the terminates then?
Yeah, I did. Terminates.
Yeah, right.
Terminates, earthquakes,
and
flame tongue. I went heavy on that.
What else did you cut then? Because 4 duress, 1 fires, and 1 that. That's only 6 cards. And you boarded in
These guys.
8. It must have been 2.
The
I got 1 birds and then 1 more of something.
yeah, 1 birds and a fires. 1 fires against you.
Yeah, still only 7 cards.
No, that's more than 7 cards.
4 duress, 1 fires is 5, recurring is 6, birds is 7.
That's 9
I'm
cards.
What am I missing?
Fires,
You
birds,
said you only boarded-
duress, nightmare, duress, cabal, duress.
Oh, Cabal. Yeah, Cabal. I didn't
Yeah.
hear that. Okay, that makes a ton. Yeah, yeah. I'm staring at the Sign of Darkness that I boarded out because I was like, he's clunky. The correct play will rarely, like against you, like the Dark Supplicant is mostly just a 1/1 for 1, right?
We forgot to unmute these guys.
Oh, yeah.
We're just having a chat.
Yeah, so against you, the Supplicants are mostly just meant to be 1/1 for 1s. Just get some early beats in and whatever, you know. Like I don't want to go for a Sign of Darkness when I know you have Terminate in your deck. You also have another removal, so it's likely I won't even have that many Clerics to sack. So I didn't want to have both Sign of Darkness in the deck. So I boarded out one of them, and then I got stuck with the other one in hand, both both hands in game 3 there, which ended up unfortunate. Where does this go? This is main deck cards. There we go.
I guess we'll interrupt now, but first of all,
Hey.
Congratulations, Aaron.
Congrats, Aaron.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Because we had a good storyline either way. If Robin would either be back-to-back champion or Aaron will have won. I don't know if this is considered a tournament, but back-to-back tournaments that he played in, since you took down the Premodern Easter tournament. So congratulations. But Robin, you might want to read Dark Supplicant again.
Yeah, I think it's got to be dark. I think it's got to be the same cleric, right?
No, I think you should read it, and I think you are going to be a little bit upset.
This is the deck I've played the least in this. Oh, you're kidding me!
Oh no!
I definitely wasn't aware of that. I will admit that I definitely wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
I played this deck 3 times in testing before this tournament, and I played it twice in this tournament before today.
What was the catch in?
You can put a Dark Supplicant from your hand
library.
or graveyard, yeah.
Hand, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Robin, I can make you feel better though. I had the 2 mana and I had a Terminate in hand.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
So I can make you feel better.
That's why I boarded one of them out.
I played that last Terminate and it was sitting in hand. Robin, I thought we were going to go to 3 matches for sure.
Oh, I didn't at all. I did not at all.
Do you guys want to talk about like why you picked the decks to ban?
Well, that's not that interesting.
Yeah, we actually had a chat and we just wanted to see good Magic played. So we picked things.
We tried to make them as fair as possible and not making Forbidden versus Pox happening in because there already was on camera. So it was kind of just that way. I think I know no matter the setup, I think the only matchup I consider, I think for me it's the only deck where I feel like I have over 50% with some of my decks. All the other decks I'm a dog against. But I don't, it felt still correct to ban that one because I played against it before, and it feels like if we're gonna make fun matches, I shouldn't be like, yeah, leave out your worst deck against me, please. Like, so in that sense, he also banned Wizards, which felt super fair, you know. So we both got to play the strong stuff, and I'm really glad about game 1 because I have been, or sorry, match 1. I have been like Aaron's like biggest proponent that, like, I know Andy's Sliver deck went like 6-0 or whatever in games there, and it's good, right? It's good, but Andy's is what I meant to say if I didn't. But Aaron's counter Slivers, they're just like, we tested that against all of my decks actually before the pizza started, and I said right there and then, like after just like 2 hours of playing, I was like, oh, he left, but hopefully he'll be back. We have G, we have Aaron. Are you here?
Yep, sorry about that. I tried to change my camera and it ended up kicking me out of the room.
Yeah, so after those 2-3 hours of testing, I said, Aaron, your counter Slivers deck is going to be the best deck in the tournament. And we didn't really get to see that too much because everyone banned it.
Yeah.
You got to play what, like once before today?
Yeah, I played it once. I thought I played it the only time it wasn't banned, and then we figured out, no, I played it one of the 2 times it wasn't banned.
Oh, okay. So there was once you didn't play it even though you could, yeah.
Yeah. I tried to play it every time it came up.
I mean, you played once, you had like some really clunky draws, you won anyway, and that's all people got to see of it. So I was glad they got to see me rip your hand apart and you just go like, sliver, 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 you're gonna die right now. Like it was just like so brutal. And
Crystalline wins against Curse Scroll. I thought that I was gonna see Innocent Blood and Pox just.
Yeah. Well, as you saw, I really liked drawing curse scrolls that match.
Yeah, it was rough.
I think I drew 2 in the first one and 3 in the second one, but I think regardless, I'm a dog there. You know, like I have some good sideboard cards, but you have answers to them. You know, you have orangutans and whatnot. Do you have any answer to Engineered Plague? Is it just the Visionary?
The Visionary and the Muscle Sliver. That's it.
And the Plated Sliver,
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, the
yeah, and your Plated Sliver. Yeah, so you do have a lot of answers to that anyway, and I only had one. So I had to pick your Crystalline, right? I saw your hand and I was like, oof, I mean, I'll take your Crystalline Sliver, but I'm not loving it because I had to leave you with all that power and toughness. And then my curse scrolls were dead anyway because you had a bunch of 2/3s on turn 3, right? Or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that was pretty rough. The Clerics matchup, I think that one is a lot closer to even. It's a little interesting. You guys saw me get mana screwed here pretty hard in game 2 and 3.
That was rough.
We were talking about, I mentioned that Aaron mulliganed 0 times in 5 games. And he said, well, my mana is very thought out. And I go, but I have 22 lands and they're all swamps. So my mana is pretty simple. But
and my response to that was, I just, like, that should be, you should be getting flooded every time.
Yeah, he thought 22 was too
in
many
my
lands. And he mentioned that before game 2, after I drew like 4 lands total in 2 games. So, but that's just variance. Like, I think Grave Pact is still good enough. Like, it was just annoying to have 2 games in a row where I sat with 2 swamps in play and a Grave Pact in hand. But there's nothing I can do about that. It's still a brutal card against him. If that gets to resolve, he said he had 1 naturalizer boarded in. If that gets to resolve, it's like he has to pull everything before he attacks ever. Or I just trade with my little dorks, right? So.
Yeah, really, really powerful card. We were talking about that before the second game.
Oops, this is an interesting angle too.
Cool.
Yeah,
well,
and then the one time that it actually hit the board, I could respond with the
Terminate right away, yeah. Yeah, and I mean I was at such a low life total at that point. So. But I mean that must have been like turn 9 or something when I drew my 4th land. So
yeah,
it's I'm clearly the aggro here, so there was not a lot I could do about that. But I'm glad I don't have to play Wizards again. So thank you, Eric.
I thought that would have been. I actually thought that was going to be a really interesting match.
That actually might be like one of the best matchups for Wizards in the entire PSS, I will say. Because like the slow control deck is like, yeah, there's like all my pain I'm taking, I don't care really. So
we played an awful lot of games. We played an awful lot of games before this started with different decks, and I don't think that matchup we ever did. We should do that before we both take these apart.
we never even tried your Forbidden deck, did we? We just
played
a lot of. Most I just jammed like every deck possible against your band Slivers, and I'm like, all right, this is unwinnable. Like, all of my decks just responded to it. Like Clerics against it was like, if you don't have Dark Soul into like 3 Clerics, he gets bigger than you and he counters the annoying stuff. Like he gets bigger than your 2/2s, he counters all the Rotlungs, and it's just like, oh, I have a 2/2 for 2, and he's like, I have a 4/3 for 2, and I'm like, ah. So that's not a good matchup at all. So that one I did not want to have.
Well, guys, you made it all the way through the end of the series, all the way through to the finals. Any sort of reflections on the series, these games?
Robin, you go ahead.
Well, I'm glad in a sense that I didn't win after I was chastised within 2 minutes of my deck being revealed as having been way too spiky and not taking the spiciness serious enough.
To be fair, I think you were both a little chastised. So
Yeah.
And here you
we
are in
both
the
got
finals.
roasted on a podcast even.
Yeah, the reason I felt bad about it in a way that I don't think maybe Aaron should, because like I don't know, it's like I won the spiky one, so it's like if I win the spiky one and then I spike the spicy one and win it, it's really interesting. I it was just an accident though. I will excuse myself because I submitted my deck. You guys know I sent Flint my decks by email literally like mid-November when they were due in like February.
Yeah.
So you guys have my decks. And Flint's response was, "This is great. This is exactly what we're looking for." So I was like, "All right, I did good." Turns out
we approved all the decks in the series. So
all the other emojis were just spicy, just a little.
There were decks that I submitted that I got a big long silence and maybe think about something else. That I think I submitted some things. I think I submitted some things that they just knew weren't going to be good on camera. Like that's just, I had like this clunky blue prison combo thing. I had some, we worked through some of my early decks and Flint beat the hell out of me in testing and
Flint's a bad testing partner. That's like, like, let's see if I'm any good against tennis. Does anyone know Rafael Nadal? Like, that's not perfect.
No,
yeah.
And actually,
you guys nicked one of my decks, but I don't even remember what it was. But I have a clear memory of having one of my decks next. I don't know what it was.
I think we talked about it on the podcast. I had looked it up. Mike, do you remember what it was?
I don't offhand, no.
It was just a Stifle Knot deck.
It was just Stifle Knot. I just really wanted to play
Blue-white Stifle Knot.
The deck I hate the most in the format. I really wanted to play it. Felt like the right time.
No, as far as reflecting on the whole thing, I really, really want to say the group of people that played this, and and you guys, the hosts, just seriously the nicest guys on the planet. Everybody, we had this group chat going, and it was always fun. Everybody was super cool to each other and super supportive all the time. Everybody was really, really great, and I am really thankful to have been a part of it.
Absolutely. And an extra plus to, I think, Mike Harris, and who else was it that helped with the production? Was it just Mike?
Mike helped with the logos. He did a little bit more, I think, in the first one. But
well, maybe it's just all you two then.
I'm probably forgetting to thank people, but yeah, it wasn't.
The point I was making was, I think it was Brian Malakos who had repeatedly said, and I agree with, that PSS is the best produced like Magic content out there, and that includes fucking, I don't know what they're called, players championships. What are they called these days? Whatever, those things. It's better than those things.
I think they call it the newfangled Magic tournaments.
Yes, yeah. So that's the NMTs. It's just such fantastic production value, and I'm glad that people are watching. I hope more people keep following. I know you guys have viewers elsewhere because Julian, who I brew with, he always watches this in the morning over in Europe. And I played some guy I've never met before on Discord, just like looking for a game. And he was from Austria, and he was like, "I watch every episode of the PSS."
That's good to hear.
Morning, watch the PSS.
yeah. Unfortunately, with the time differences, we don't get to interact with the European crowd as much. So it's good to hear that people are enjoying the replays or things that make it to YouTube as well. So
sometimes you see Julian in the chat, Captain Rogers. He checks in on the longer days because he goes up at like 5 in the morning because he's a madman.
Yeah, and I've gotten the chance to play against people in the monthlies and other tournaments that have been oh, I know you. You're the guy from the PSS.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've chatted with people about the decks that have been brewed up for this and talked about what could change to make them more competitive in the broader pre-modern meta. And it's been really fun. There's a lot of excitement around this, and it's been, again, real fun to be a part of. Thank you.
Yeah.
And people have played in the Spring Fling. There are people playing PSS decks that aren't us.
That's cool. That's really cool.
That's so
I
cool.
saw Tax Rack still, and some other deck I've seen. So there and I can't name names. One person I know is playing Pox, who is in the PSS, and then of all the decks I've been playing, it's the stupid Wizards deck people are most interested in. So I've sent updated Wizards list to people. I went 2-2 in the Spring Fling with the updated version, so it's not total crap.
Sure.
I went 3-3 in a monthly with Bant Counter Slivers,
there you go.
and then for some reason that's not the one that's got the responses from folks. It's been the other two that people have been brewing up and playing. So it's been cool.
Mike Arnold in chat saying he's 3-1 with Sunder Nick Fit.
He is trolling the hell out of you.
I want to believe that's true so bad. I really want it to be true.
Oh man. Well, we've also got some commentary that there was a lack of Urza's baubles in the finals, and that was a bit disappointing, Aaron. So
I thought about putting baubles in a lot of these decks, actually. There were so many pet cards. I think all of us, we had these pet cards that we got stuck on. I put, every list I submitted, I think had familiars in it. Like, just, that's cat. I got stuck on Tradewind Riders. I got stuck on I had to put those in something. I had to put and Bauble was one thing. I'm like, what can I put Bauble in? And then
doesn't fit in too many decks.
No, but it fits great in Sly. I keep having that conversation.
Yeah, we did have that conversation today, didn't we? Aaron and I were very active on Discord today, arguing Sly all day. That's what we do at work, apparently.
I was working. If anybody from work is watching, I swear.
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I suppose we can wrap this up. Thanks again for playing, guys. Congratulations to Aaron and Robin. Congratulations as well for making it to the finals. It was a pleasure to watch the games, and the ones tonight were interactive. I won't speak for Mike, but I really enjoyed watching them.
Yeah, they were great. Yeah, congratulations to both of you. And so we had a great time, and as you guys had expressed, it sounded like everyone who participated really enjoyed it. So that's great that we got able to put a great production in that people get excited about. Like you talk about people playing the deck, so that's really cool that the decks that it's not just for show, that people are willing to experiment with these things and kind of tweak them and try and tune them. So I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right. Well, we'll send you guys off, but thank you very much.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we are going to close things out shortly. We're probably just going to briefly thank everyone as normal. Thanks for the people in chat, keeping things moving along. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the subscribers. Thanks for everyone talking about the format, getting excited about it on Facebook and whatnot. We had a lot of fun. I'm glad that we could put on this production. It's been exciting to crown a new Premodern Showdown Series champion in Aaron. So congratulations to him. What do you want to add, Flint?
Just a big thank you to the players, Gabe Farkas, Aaron Dix, Andy Culpepper, Anthony Harrison, John Sullivan, Robin Lundh, Phil Nguyen, and Brian Manalakos. Thank you guys for all agreeing to donate your time, to play, to be prompt, to be reliable. We really appreciate it. We enjoyed watching the games. And of course, as I have been known to say, check out our friends of the show if you haven't already. Join the Premodern online monthly Facebook group. Come play Magic with us. Join the Discord. Listen to the podcasts such as All Things Considered, the Premodcast, Monster of the Week. There's a lot of great content out there. We do this periodically, but we're not on all the time. So, to sate your pre-modern needs, be sure to check out 90s MTG, some of these other folks as well who are producing great content.
All right. Well, that'll bring us to a close. I guess the next time you guys will probably see me, unless I do something more spontaneous, will be the finals of the Spring Fling, which is actually approaching pretty quick. We're in the second batch, so it won't be too long if you guys are itching to see or listen to me. I don't know if that's actually the case ever, but there's more content coming, so we'll look forward to getting that out. But once again, thanks everyone for being a part of this production. We really enjoy putting it on. So I want to thank everyone again, and until next time, take care.
Night, everybody.